commenter on the DK Pittsburgh Sports app. Goes by Bucks fan since 1956. Posted after the game yesterday. At 51-71, the Pirates have 40 games remaining. To reach 76 wins, they'll have to go 25-15. At which point he asks, any takers? Well, I'm not taking that one. But I love singling out 76 wins. I'll explain in a moment. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Brewers 12, Pirates 5. Aggregate score from the 3-game sweep in Milwaukee, 33-6. And guess what? That doesn't approach adequately describing the chasm that exists between these two franchises. Except for one, of course, Pittsburgh is a bigger market than Milwaukee. It was Mitch Keller's turn to get hit around by the crew. 6 runs on 8 hits and a couple of walks over just 4 innings. Mitch hasn't been his best self in the second half in general. Not that it matters. Carmen Majinski didn't do much better in a couple innings. Kyle Nicholas, who's rapidly gaining a reputation as just not being good, pitched 1/3 of an official inning. 4 runs, 2 hits, 2 walks. And what am I doing? None of this matters. I'll actually give a cap tip here to Brian Reynolds. 2 home runs. He's up to 13 of those now on the season. All 5 of the Pirates' RBIs. And none of it matters. None of any of this is going to matter with the worthy exception of Paul Skeens going for the Cy Young. There's not anything that's baseball related that's going to matter the rest of the way. They don't have anybody to call up. Certainly not from a hitting standpoint. I'd even argue against Bubba Chandler because he hasn't really gotten it done this summer in Indianapolis. It started off great, but not since then. There isn't a solitary hitting prospect until you get to A-ball. Good for them. It's a great hitting prospect, but A-ball. And the reason, of course, for all of this is that the general manager is awful. The owner hasn't fired the general manager. And, well, I got a different idea I'm going to put forth today. And it's going to sound snarky or sarcastic. And you know what? It might be both of those things. But let me state up front that if Ben Cherington wanted to do the honorable thing, he could save Bob Nutting from himself, save the Pirates from further damage that he'd do, and maybe even along the way, and again, I'm trying to be serious with this, save some additional jobs of people who are currently employed under him, who just might be, for all we know, good people who are suppressed by a bad boss. And he could check off all these boxes with 2 simple words. I resign. Look, Bob, I get it. Okay, you lack the wherewithal or whatever to fire me. I can't say that I respect that, given how rancid I've been in this role. But, you know, I kind of get it. That's the way you go. So I'm here to just make it easier on you. I have heard the collective criticism of the neophytes, the non-knowledgeable types, the impatient types, the fans from, quote, a place like Pittsburgh, end quote. Yeah, that one came up last week again. And I've just come to accept that it's really hard to find people outside our immediate circle who can accept our genius, who can appreciate our process, when all they want is to get to winning games faster for our fans. So here I am, Bob. I'm quitting. I'm just going to walk right out this door after I, pack up my stuff and shake hands and thank each of the 1,478 advanced analytics people we hired this past offseason in lieu of a first baseman or right fielder. And I'm going to stuff my calculator and my abacus, one each under the armpits, and I'm going to go. Unless, you decide to stop me. Which you could, you could stop me. You could say, hey, Ben, hang on a second. I've been doing some thinking. And you want to know, even though the team is currently 51-71, 20 games under 500, in year 6 of your tenure, even though the pitching staff that you assembled that looked really good for a while and then not so good and now has just given up 47 runs in the past 4 games, even though the offense is the worst in Major League Baseball by such a wild margin that we're now 649 OPS, dead last, 432 runs, dead last, 86 home runs, dead last. Even though you've made a ton of terrible trades, even though you couldn't recognize talent on the outside or the inside, in letting Quinn Priester walk away for 2 prospects in their mid-20s who have actually regressed since coming into our organization here, Ben. Even though you just orchestrated a trade deadline that was the laughingstock of the baseball world, well beyond Pittsburgh, despite all those things, you know what? Go ahead. And don't even think about taking a parking voucher. When we come back, J1Q. If you're looking for a great dining experience, look no further than North Shore Tavern. Located directly across Federal Street from PNC Park, next door to Mike's Beer Bar, North Shore Tavern is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. Enjoy your steak finished on a hot lava stone in front of you, where you ensure each piece is cooked to exactly your liking. Or try their rotating selection of entrees, hot sandwiches, salads, and burgers, all while enjoying the ambiance dedicated to the great players and history of the Pittsburgh Pirates all around you. Come see why everyone's talking about North Shore Tavern and steak on a stone.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Andrew, who says, good morning, Dejan. First time, long time here. Do the Pirates truly believe that their salary dump at the 2025 trade deadline will allow them to sign quality free agents for the 2026 season? It seems inconceivable at this point that the Pirates could sign any free agent at market value, as market value implies that a player has multiple teams bidding for his services. If the salary and the terms of the contract are equal or close to it, why would any marquee free agent choose to sign with the Pirates instead of a club with a better shot at postseason contention? Andrew, first off, thanks. I appreciate that. Always like getting the first-timers. Second, to highlight one concept that you brought up, free agents go where the money is. That's been proven time and time and time again. There is a common narrative that's close to what it is that you're describing there, and it gets applied to the Pirates a lot. It also happens to not be true. The team that pays gets the player. Most recently, Martin Perez and Aroldis Chapman left the World Series champion Texas Rangers to come to Pittsburgh because the Pirates offered just a hair more money. In turn, after this past season, when it was time for Chapman to go somewhere else, he signed with the Red Sox because they offered him a mere $500,000 raise on his previous pay. This is how agents go. This is how players go. What you're saying sounds like it should be true, but it just isn't. See also, if you want to get into bigger numbers in a bigger situation, Freddie Freeman. They'll go for every available penny. It's your main point. And please take this in the pleasant spirit in which it's intended. None of that matters. Changing this management, changing this front office. And sure, I would add selling this franchise if I thought that was in play. That's what matters. Now, Bob Nutting's nowhere near selling. There's zero indication of that. Absolute zero. So the best that you can hope for as a fan of this franchise is that there's a change of, well, pretty much everybody else. And alas, that can only be engineered by one individual. That individual already blew it big time this season by not firing Ben Cherington when he should have. And that means after last season, but for sure at the same time that he fired Derek Shelton. Nutting thought and told me so that he was just doing something to try to kind of keep this season on track. Well, here we are. Nice job keeping it on track. Listen to Mitch Keller in the clubhouse in Milwaukee after this team's latest embarrassment yesterday, just talking about what's ahead in these final 40 games that still remain.
Just not panic. I think a lot of times when it's not going well or the way you want to, you overanalyze it and just hit the panic button. So the last thing we need to do as a group and as a starting collective is just stay the course. Find out what we need to work on personally. It's 2 strikes. I can be better with 2 strikes. So. That's my goal going forward, and just keep it simple and keep going.
You hear that? It's not the words. It's not the words. There's a reason I played you the audio. It's the intonation. It's the figurative gazing into space. They're so gone. They're so far gone. They're so... If I say checked out, it's going to make it sound like Don Kelly's checked out, and he's not. But there's just only so much command you can have of a scenario like this. This was created, this scenario, not the roster, not the baseball component. This scenario was created by Nutting. He blew it. I'm going to say it a third time. He blew it. And the part that he continues to make that much worse on a daily basis is putting off the inevitable for no reason. I appreciate hearing from you, Andrew. I appreciate everybody who listens to Daily Shot of Pirates. Team's off today. Team's heading to Chicago and Wrigley Field for the weekend. Our Jose Negron of DK Pittsburgh Sports, the only reporter from any media outlet covering this trip, will be out there for that. You can check out Jose's coverage on the DK Pittsburgh Sports app, and we will be back here tomorrow for another one of these.